Hello, welcome to Homesteading Northwest Florida. We are in the styrofoam room and we are doing some slurry on top of concrete that I grinded linoleum off of with a pretty rough bit. It was one of those 30 diamond metal blades, and it kind of leaves it with a rough texture. There's a lot of pores in here. It ripped the vinyl glue off and the whole top surface of the concrete here. So I'm doing a little slurry with concrete bonding adhesive Acrylic Fortifier. And what I can kind of compare this to, because I used to be a cleaning lady and I used to wax my floors, is acrylic floor wax. That's what this stuff seems to be like, because once you try to wet this slurry after it dries, it really doesn't take on water so good, But kind of how I do it here is, okay, here's some. I've got a mixture here, and I just kind of grind it. I just kind of push it into the pores of and then I add some just straight like this if it gets dried out. But I just kind of, and this is, since I just had this is pure type S mortar. That's all I'm using. I'm not going to buy anything for this again. I'm not buying more stuff. So I take a couple scoops of type S mortar and put Acrylic Fortifier in it. This is the brand I'm using. This is the real thin stuff, and it reminds me of acrylic floor wax, because I've waxed a few floors in my day. Tried to get all the old stuff up, and it kind of gives a waterproof surface to this. I am going to densify this again, and I'm polishing it. I do put water, and then I polish this like off and down. But if you're going to see this surface here is very pitted up with that diamond, bit that I used, that I have other videos of. I used a Verver dust cover. That didn't really work. You had to add water, and that was a slurry when I took that off too. But this Acrylic Fortifier, I'm liking it. Makes a really smooth, as hard as you can get. Type S mortar is going to be a little bit softer because it has lime in the concrete to move with the bricks, because it's a mortar. But that's what I have, and I'm not buying anything else. I've done some test areas, and this method seems to turn out pretty good. I'm kind of filling all the pores in here, in between the aggregate. And it's a slurry, is what it is. And it seems to be working pretty good for me. And another thing is too, since this isn't like an epoxy, I am going to put some densifier over it, and I probably will put this Acrylic Fortifier once I get it all smoothed out, which I have in this area. I'll take you over to this area. I did a lot of test areas with this. And here's my polishing setup here from Amazon. It's the GV Life polishing car polisher. It's a car polisher. It's variable speeds. That's kind of what you want. Because when you get to the angle grinder, work good for that, but And I'll show you two areas here, and I don't know if you can see the difference, but this is the unslurried area, and this is the slurried area. And this is a lot smoother. And in fact, I did put some, this spot right here is a little darker, where I just put the acrylic fortifier over the area that I had polished. And you can see, you know, very rough to smoother and grayer, because yeah, this is a gray mortar, but I'm not buying anything else. And I tried the white, and it looked like you just put paint on the floor. The white grout I have some white grout. But that's what I'm doing, and it turns out pretty nice. And I'm going to clean this up, vacuum it after, you know, and then with this particular polishing wheels here, what do I got? A 200, I have 100 on here. And I do put down a little bit of water and then wipe it up. But to grind all this down would be really dusty, and I already did a lot of grinding on this floor. Don't really want it to do that, but the pores really just need to be filled in before the polishing. And I don't have a big machine, so that's what's happening. Okay, here's a hole that probably a nail was in or something, because there was a wall here. But it's all going to get slurried and polished down, and that's going to be it, man. So it's basically going to look like that, where you can see some of the aggregate. Here's an area I probably should fill in a little bit more with the slurry. But yeah, that's going to be about it. And here's the polishing. These are supposed to be diamond, whatever, impregnated polishing things, and I really can't tell the difference between 100 and 200, and you know, then I have used a buffing. I tried the cotton like buffing, and that kind of made it nice. But this is what's happening here. Acrylic Fortifier. And okay, this is what I've learned so far about those. There's that self-leveling concrete, and there's a lot of additives you can add into concrete or mortar or whatever. And this does make it a lot more silky. Let's just put it that way. Adding this acrylic fortifier makes it a lot more silky and silky to slide over. And I didn't add any sand to this, but a lot of the self-leveling concretes have acrylic fortifier in there, and that'll be a more expensive bag of concrete because it's got all kinds of additives in there, one of them being acrylic fortifier. And then they use something with I forget what it's called, but I'll show you an update when the floor is all finished and polished up with no pinholes in here, because right now there's a lot of pinholes. All right, concrete polishing slurry is what I'm doing. And it does help out because I don't have the machines to grind down, and it's too time consuming to grind down like all of this to be so, and I don't know if it would really work. You know, it's just too many pinholes. I think they do a special pour when they're gonna polish concrete with probably smaller solids.